Britain is on the verge of double gold and individual silver after an eventful cross-country day at the European Eventing Championships at Herastapan. Ros Canter and Lordships Gruffalo, the penultimate combination to go, delivered the fastest round of the day, cruising home 9 seconds inside the optimum time to move up a place from provisional silver overnight to hold the top spot. Britain, too, has retained its team lead over Germany, which is in provisional silver, with a mixed day for both nations. Dressage leader Michael Young's hopes of gold ended when Fisher Chipmunk FRH stumbled on landing at the final water complex, with Michael taking a rider fall. It means that Ros and Lordships Gruffalo head into the final phase on their dressage score of 21.3, with 9.5 penalties in hand over teammates Kitty King and Vondredi Biats in provisional silver.
I think he's very efficient, so he's a very careful horse, but he never balloons, he never goes green, so he always lands travelling, which is very good. He's extremely polite, which is unusual to have a horse that travels at his speed, that when you sit up he's responsive, so when he's galloping he gallops low, but when you sit up he bunches up and his head comes up, and it's the best of both worlds. There aren't many that can gallop low and then don't want to stay down there, and aren't many that have their heads up at a jump but then want to gallop low, so I think that's where he's just amazing. I've never sat on a horse like him that travels so efficiently and is so rideable and brave. You know, he measures every jump, he reads every jump beautifully, he seems to know just how much he's got to give everything, and he really does make my job easy, because hand on heart I'm not normally the fastest rider around a course, and he definitely helps me to believe in my system and what I do. But yeah, I mean, he's had his little quirks and challenges, but there's no doubt that he's always loved being an event horse.
And you mentioned earlier after your dressage that how much he'd come on from your badminton preparations in that phase. Do you feel cross country, is he again still getting better and better and better?
Oh, well, I think we're still coming across situations that are new to him. I mean, today was definitely the most challenging ground. We thought badminton was bad, but I don't think it was a patch on how they had to travel through, kind of quite gloopy going today. And obviously it was very quick. At badmintons, you've just got time to let them have a breather. But yeah, I mean, he surprises me time and time again. But literally, there isn't another horse I'd rather walk a course, and I haven't found a course yet where I've walked a jump and thought I'm not sure how Walter will tackle this, or I'd want to have a go on him. You know, there isn't a jump I don't think he can't jump. So, I mean, I'm very lucky where I live on the Lincolnshire Wolds. We have fantastic hills. Every time he goes hacking, he's going up hills, and we do all our canter work on grass, which I think is a huge benefit. When it's wet, we go a bit slower and a bit steeper. When it's very dry, we trot, and when it's perfect, we go for it. So he has a very varied fitness routine, but it is all on grass. He goes in lots of different conditions, and he goes up gentle inclines and steep inclines.
And for you today as well, as with dressage, it's been quite a long wait for you, penultimate rider. What have you been up to? How have you kept your head in the right place?
Well, I always have the idea that I'll watch 5 and then go back to the lorry, have a sleep, do something else, stay in my own zone. The reality is that didn't happen. I watched quite a few. Then I got a bit worried about the last water, so I went down and rewalked it. Then I came back, then I watched a few more. Then I got worried about the rail ditch brush. I went down and walked that. Then I walked the water again. Then I came back up and went back to the lorry and managed not to watch any more after that. But by that point, it was about time to get ready. So.
British team pathfinders Kitty and Vondredi Biats were 9th out at the start box on Pierre Le Goupil's course, coming home with 3.6 time faults in the deep, tiring going. As the day wore on, it became clear few could rival Kitty, and first to go Sarah Ennis's speed. Only Ros Canter and her badminton-winning ride Lordships Gruffalo could make the time.
Today had to really dig deep and try hard, and he kept jumping for me even when he was finding it a little bit trickier. So it was hard work, but he kept jumping and kept galloping, and I'm very proud of how hard he tried for me.
And for you as a rider, when you're feeling, your horse is giving you that slightly different feeling, what do you have to do?
I just tried to keep moving as much as I could, as well as just slightly backing off him a little bit at times to try and let him find his feet. He was just unsure of the footing, and on the approaches to the fences he just was a bit more unsure of himself compared to normal, and his stride pattern changed a bit, which I think threw both of us. So when I'd normally set up, the stride would just kind of keep coming up nicely, whereas today we're always just a bit of a half stride off, either half deep or long, and it was just trying to get our eye in and how the ground took their stride away from them more than normal. So it was just trying to just give him a little bit of time to find his feet and find his confidence with the ground. As soon as he set out, he just wasn't kind of jumping how he normally would out the ground. He was finding it really kind of hard work. Normally he's such a springy little horse, and it just took all his spring away from him, and it just took his spring and his stride, and he just was finding it all quite different. And with the warm-up being on a surface, they don't even get the feel of the ground, and then they come out, and then I think he was just suddenly like, oh my God, who's taken the surface away from my footing? Like they're just going in that much deeper, and it just shook him a little bit. By the time he got to the first water, that's when he suddenly started to pick up and jump really well again. But yeah, the first 4 or 5 fences, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a terribly long way around if we're going to be like this the whole way. So it was it was a little bit kind of unnerving for both of us, but he kept trying and he finished really well.
I think that shows again, the strength of your partnership, that you've got a clear round on championship course with a horse that, as you said, was giving you a different feel to normal.
Yeah, I mean, we know each other inside out, so when he kind of said, I don't like this very much, I was like, it's okay, Froggy, we can, do it together.
World champions Yasmin Ingham and Banzai Duroy picked up an unlucky 20 penalties at 22C in an otherwise flowing round, while Laura Collett and London 52 added 15 penalties for missing a flag at fence 20, with Laura saying afterwards that she couldn't be prouder of the horse for how deep he dug over the testing course. Here's what they both had to say.
He was amazing round pretty much everything. There was just one split second where we just had a little moment, unfortunately, but it was a super track to ride around, and he gave me such an amazing feel around, as I say, pretty much all of it. Just that one moment where just didn't quite get up the bank on the right distance, and he just wasn't sort of in the position to jump the fence. So that's I'm slightly kicking myself, but we're always learning, and again, he's jumped around the rest of it with absolute perfection. So I'm so proud of him for giving me his all today.
And how did you find the grounds riding out there, Yaz?
It's definitely sapping for them. We've had a lot of rain, but the organisers made a very wise decision to take out a loop, and I think that definitely was the right decision. So obviously it's the horse's health is paramount, so that's the most important thing here. And Banzai's came home absolutely fine. He is pricked and he's sort of ready to do something else now. So it's great that he's come back feeling really well.
Right from the beginning, the ground is seriously testing. The jumps feel very, very big. He's a really scopy horse, and even he felt like he was having to make quite a big jumping effort everywhere. The combinations come up thick and fast, and there's just nowhere to let them have a breather, which is why I think they're finding it very, very tough out there. Personally, I couldn't be prouder of him. He's never had to dig as deep as he dug round there, and he kept jumping, he kept trying, he was so honest, and I'm super proud of him. Kitty came back and said, it really is hard work out there, and that you don't get a great feel, and I would second what she said. You really, I normally love riding him cross country, and I felt like I was like, come on, it's okay. It's just they're not used to that kind of ground. I think the fences everywhere are dimensionally very big. I think on good ground, I think it would have been a completely different feel, and on a horse like him it would have felt fantastic jumping some of those big fences, but they're really having to make an effort everywhere, and then the galloping bits in between where normally you could freewheel a bit, you just can't in this ground, and I tried really hard to find better ground, but going at this stage of the day there is none. So it's hard work out there. They're actually recovering super well. I think it's just the continuous effort in that ground is what's sapping the energy, but they're recovering, and as soon as it's a great wash down area, being in the shade and everything, and there's loads of space, so they're actually perking up. He's already sort of looking pretty perky and pleased with himself, so that's the main thing.
You know each other so well. To come home on a course like that, I mean, what is your bond like with him?
I think it shows what a partnership we have, for him to keep going and keep jumping and keep trusting me in that ground and over those fences makes me insanely proud of him. He's given me absolutely everything, and I've said for the last couple of years he's a horse that owes me absolutely nothing for everything that he's done. I'm going to get really emotional now. Like he's just been he's my horse of a lifetime, and for him to dig as deep as he did, really, as you can see, makes me very proud.
Tom McEwen, competing as an individual with JL Dublin, took a rider fall at the final water complex, while Britain's other individual, Tom Jackson, who was piloting Cappel's Hollow Drift, completed with 20 penalties, also at the final water.
I'm absolutely delighted with the horse. He literally gave me everything and couldn't do anything. Obviously, I'm bitterly disappointed that we didn't come back with the clear, but I couldn't be prouder of him. He literally gave me his all and some more. I think it's just really tough conditions out there, and he did everything he could. That's tougher than the going was at Badminton. That's deeper. That's nearly, I want to say, that's as deep as I've ever ridden in, because if it was deeper than that, normally I might have gone home. But I think today, the ground jury did a good job, and it was clearly a good decision in taking the 2-minute loop out. And these are good, experienced horses, and they're still finding it a bit tiring with that really holding ground.
How useful was that badminton experience? Not just for jumping around one of the biggest 5-stars in the world, but to be going on deeper ground today.
Yeah, well, when you come to a place like this, and we knew it was going to be soft, from the beginning of the week, and I thought that hopefully him having done that would have give him the experience, and clearly, hopefully it helped. Unfortunately, today wasn't quite our day. But hopefully he'll learn from it. He pulled up really well and recovered very quickly, and now looks really bright. I think they've got a girl either side of him to go back to the stables, so he's full of it again.
Looking back at the business end of the leaderboard, Germany's Sandra Auffarth, who became world champion here in 2014, holds provisional bronze.
Yes, I really must say that I was looking forward to the cross country because I thought he's ready for everything, and we have a super partnership. So, yeah, I'm happy to have him.
I also caught up with her teammate Jerome Robine, as well as big leaderboard climbers SJOBORG of Sweden and Ireland's Susie Berry.
I think I started slow because I felt the ground is tough for him. He had to get into this course, and I saw some before who started too fast, and then on the end it was really hard work for them. So I said no, just didn't look on the watch, just get your turn and try to really feel into your horse. And I think the jumps were all pretty good. He jumped very good the whole course around, was not getting tired. Of course, if you know that, you could go a bit faster, but in the end, I'm pretty happy. I was held before the last water. It's hard to get into it again, but all the coaches been there pretty fast and told me what to do. Just walk them, and then start strong again, start quick, and I think he could breathe and could start again pretty strong.
You as a rider, I mean, what kind of feeling, what kind of sense do you get from a horse from that when you have those unknowns and you go out and you get a performance like that?
I kind of started at the beginning, and she's got so much energy, and she's quite a hot mare, so she took off at the beginning, and I was almost like, oh my day, like, will we come home at this speed? But then I thought it'll take more out of her if I start pulling around, so I just let her travel, and she kept travelling for me nearly the whole way, and then the last bit I just gave her a pat down the hills. I just let her cruise, and she got to every uphill and just went again for me. So
she was class. She's so brave, and she made every effort to give me a good ride. I just was struggling to hold her. As soon as I came in the warm-up, the French before me went through the water and they went mad, and she was just like usually she'd be quite a laid-back horse cross country, and it makes it really easy to sort of go quickly because she's always in the same rhythm and she's so straight and honest, whereas today I was having to get her back a lot earlier than normal, so that was a bit of a shame. It made me very slow, but thrilled with how she came home. She could have kept going for another 8 minutes, I think, to be honest, but she was cool.
She looked like she finished really strong. Is she recovering well out there as well?
Yeah, she came back and her heart rate was 100. Like, she's a freak of nature in that way, but she's bred to run, so she proved that today, yeah.
Head over to the Horse and Hound website for all the news on how Cross Country Day played out here in Normandy. And don't forget to like and to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content.